So Jim Lee, president of DC Comics, is asking the big question. What's missing in Western comics that has manga beating them out and making manga so popular? Well, I'm about to let you know. When it comes to what's in manga that's not in Western comics, there's 5 C's: clarity, consistency, continuity, conclusion, and connection. So let's start with the first 3: clarity, continuity, and consistency. I say, if you want to say, hey, how do I get into Dragon Ball? How do I get into Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, etc.? I would just say, hey, go read XYZ, Volume 1, Chapter 1, and just read all the way through. It's only one author and his artist that he works with. That's it. When it comes to comics, if you want to say, oh, hey, I want to get into Superman, okay, well, I can easily tell you just start with 2023 Superman, Dawn of DC, and read from there. But if you want to know about the origins and the different power sets and the different stuff that's referenced that they have in the little yellow boxes, I would have to tell you to go all the way back to New 52 Superman and then read all the way up until you get to Dawn of DC and then go from there. But once again, even with that, there's different artists that take different directions and different things of that nature. And it can be all quite confusing and overwhelming for a new comic book person to get into because there's so many things. But yet in anime and in manga, it's one author and one consistent story. And then the next C, the 4th C, is a conclusion. With that one author and one story, that story usually ends. Jujutsu Kaisen has ended in the manga. Demon Slayer has ended in the manga. The only reason why Dragon Ball hasn't ended is because it would crash the economy. But there's a lot of stories in anime and manga that are over with, which is why the anime is now involved now, and they're able to pretty much tell the story all the way through. But with Western comics, there's so many characters that are just in this endless loop that have no conclusion and have no ending, but yet they have this big old mythos with all these different characters, but they're not able to get the push because the main character that connects the mythos is still there and it's holding everybody else down technically in a way, or is in their shadow, which is why I made the Miles reference to moving him to Miami so that way he would be out of Peter's shadow, because no matter how big he is technically individually on his own, as long as he's in New York, he's still under Peter. But I digress. And then the final thing is connection. With a manga, there comes an anime. There is no cartoons, there's no animation really, and really there's no movies that can go from, okay, I read this in the comics, so now I can go and connect this to a screen. That's what you're missing. Have a good day.